Anyone who wants to learn. Oh, is everybody okay with being recorded? I'm going to record this presentation so that later you can come back to it. So as I said, with Grow with Google, this is a great site to go to for anyone who wants to learn new skills, find and land a job, be more productive at their work, or advance in their career. This first element of Grow with Google I'm going to talk about is the certification courses. They offer, right now, they offer certifications in IT support, data analytics, project management, and universal design. Now, these are all technology heavy certifications, but they're highly sought after certifications. As you can see, 80% of people who complete these certs within just 6 months, they get a raise, find a new job, or even start a business. They're really good, reliable certifications to be able to have. The cost, now this is relevant to how quickly you can get through a course. So if you can get through a course within 6 months, the average cost is $294. And that was a quote from just the end of December. And I feel like that's still relevant. So the more quickly you can plow through, the less money you'll have to spend. They are offered through the Coursera platform. Job search tools. Some of these I've gone over previously if you've been doing Hannah's sessions with us in January and now this month. Before every presentation, I've been giving a little tip about Grow with Google, and I've gone over some of these. And for productivity, they have plenty of tools to help you to be as productive as you possibly can in your job. So you can also view tons of different little movies, and there are workshops that are not little, they're actually quite extensive, on topics like how do you negotiate your salary? How can you advance yourself by being creative and collaborative? Building your network, coaching your team to success, learning basic digital skills, and even learning how to code. The programs are offered and posted as they become available. I'm going to be sharing the website information in a second. If you're interested, the best thing to do is to check every day because things do pop up. And I guarantee there'll be something that will pop up that you'll really be happy to see and be interested in taking. And these are free to you. So remember, if you want to learn, this is the site you want to write down. It's https://grow.google/job-seekers/. So I encourage you all to check it out. I've learned tons from it, and I keep learning new things. So it's a great place to check out. So now I'm going to give it over to Hannah. Uh-oh, I lost my, there we go. It does not want to let me out.
Hey, Stacy.
Yeah.
I'm recording this on my computer. I didn't know if I could record to the cloud.
That's okay. I can walk you through how to share that with me after.
I'll just share it with you when it's done.
But here we go. I lost my little bar that let me get out of there. I had to make you guys like a checkerboard, and then it came back.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm taking over. It's so great to be here again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me just get this going. So we're on session 3 now, and how time flies, right? I just want to make sure that today's session, we're going to talk about some cool things. So I'm going to show you some templates and talk about why templates are sort of a nice option, especially for those of us who don't have design skills. I'm going to go through some of the top platforms and share some demos. Like I'm actually going to do some demos so you can see for yourself what some of these different infographic tools look like. Some there's a cost, some there's not a cost, and I'll talk about some of the pros and cons of that. And then I'm going to ask you to sort of ask your questions, like, you know, because you now have been thinking about your wireframe and your infographic. I want to answer your questions and maybe be able to show you specifically some of the questions you might have, because between now and our next and final class, I really want you all to be building, creating your infographic so that when we come to class next Tuesday, you'll be able to show your awesome work. So that's the goal, because you know, I want you to work along with me and go through this, because I know I'm a huge procrastinator and a perfectionist and all these other things. And so I'll say, oh, I'll get to that later, and later never happens. So I want to sort of be that built-in accountability and your teacher that says, I'm looking forward to seeing what you've got to share next week. So that's what I'm hoping will happen. So for those of you that can see this, if you drew a wireframe on a piece of paper, will you hold it up in front of the camera? I would love to see it. Ooh, Kathy. Yeah. I'm gonna have to make it bigger so that I can see, but I love it. Okay, I can see Kathy's. Oh, Elizabeth, look at yours. That's awesome. Oh, fun. Anyone else draw their wireframe? You guys are starred pupils today. For the rest of you, it's going to be so important for you to at least have some idea of what you want to demonstrate, because when you get to the point of actually using one of these tools, it's so overwhelming to be thinking about what you're going to create on the fly. I want you to come into the creation and using the tool with an idea already mapped out. And I get it. I'm one of those people that likes to see ideas first, but I don't want you to feel limited, because some of these templates are somewhat limited in their availability. So let's take a look. These are some of the free templates that are out there right now, and we're going to take a look at some of them and where they come from and things like that. But what I first want to let you know is that templates are great, because and I should ask this question, are any of you designers, like computer graphic designers on the side or as a full-time job? We have any of those people here? No? Okay. Nice smile, Nigel. You're so not. Right. So, but that doesn't really matter, because that's the beauty of templates. Somebody who does have design skills and understands visually how to put things on a page has created some of these things already for you. So we don't need to worry about that. That means the colors and fonts, the colors have been paired, the fonts have been paired. So we don't have to get all into that stuff. But remember what we talked about. Was it in the second one? Was it last week? We talked about selecting your colors and selecting your fonts. Did anyone already select a font that they liked?
Looks like Kathy might have.
No? I know, Kathy, I'm seeing you did, huh? Anyone else select a font that they liked? Do you mind sharing in chat the font that you selected, Kathy? Oh, are you going to share the fonts you selected or no? I guess I don't know what the answer to that is. Well,
Oh, she picked colors.
Oh, you did your color. Okay. Okay, that's awesome. I think selecting colors is important too. I don't know if any of you noticed, but that blue on this slide is my blue. I have a green color that is also my green. And so I know whenever I'm creating a presentation, I want to use the same blue. Sometimes I alter a little bit, but that's the color I use. So it's sort of consistent. You know, companies do this all the time with brand colors, but part of this is, what color do you feel represents you, your occupation, and what, you know, what you're all about. So Tammy says, when selecting fonts, I noticed many were not in Word. So I had to do more research to find complementary fonts, still working on it. So Tammy, before you go dive too far down the rabbit hole, you won't be creating your presentation in Word. So it really doesn't matter whether or not the font is in Word. You'd want it to be in one of the other tools that you are using. And even sometimes in the other tools, they don't call it exactly the same thing. So don't be too worried about selecting your font pair. You may just discover one that works well anyway in one of the tools that we're going to be talking about today. So don't worry too much about that. That's a good question. Okay, so the other nice thing about using a template is that there are already ideas there, right? And infographic elements. It doesn't mean that you can't replace them. Like if you don't like the infographic element they've selected, you can, with almost all of these tools, insert another one in its place in that same allotment. So I think that I'm a fan of templates because I don't have design skills. Oh, there was something else I think I'd wanted to say. Okay, so let's talk about which infographic tool is best. And before we think about that, I want you to know that you're not absolutely 100% married to using everything that's in that template. So if you find sort of a designed element that you like, that's great. You can change the colors, you can change the fonts. There's some tools that we'll look at. If you download the file or use the file, the watermark, the logo of the software is going to be on your file unless you pay more money. And I'll show you which ones those are. In other cases, if you want a PDF instead of a picture format, you'd have to pay money to download that. So the question then really becomes, okay, some of these tools are $15, $19, or $20 a month. You can cancel after 1 month, but is it worth your investing $15 on something? That's a choice that I want you to think about. I'm not asking you to make it now, right? And you'll clearly know which tools cost money. I'll explain that all to you. But let me first talk about PowerPoint, because I think a lot of people don't realize that you can actually create an infographic resume with PowerPoint. And actually, I came across a couple of templates that I sort of liked. You may like them too. So if you go to your PowerPoint, create a new presentation, you click on new and you type in infographic resume, you will see these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 infographics come up. I bet you if I typed in just resume, I'd find even more options, but I used infographic resume. So I thought that was pretty cool that they're coming to. PowerPoint is already a tool that we're familiar with. There are some tricky advanced functionality like grouping and blocks and stuff, but for the most part, we can customize this and it's going to be very comfortable and familiar to us. So let me just quickly show you. I did a quick demo that I'm running that you should be able to see. So this is that one that I liked, and you just click on it. And then you would edit it like you would any other document. So you can go in and edit the font, right, and pick the ones that you want. If you wanted to make it a different font, you can select that different font from the regular Microsoft selection. If you wanted to change that from red, because red's not your color, and you wanted to go to a different color, you could. I'm going to go to my green. And then each one of those elements, like those little icons for the phone, you can change to green. And of course, you can change all that text information too next to it, but it's really simple. This is why I like using templates, because It doesn't take a lot of time. It's already sort of built. Now, some of the problems with these templates is that it lists like your birth year and stuff. We don't do that in the US, so I don't want that anywhere on your resume. So you can use that space to put in something else. And when we get down to these cool, donut charts, they're all editable, but you edit the data. So you do need to think, okay, this is a numeric thing. It's based on a table. So you just have to find the table and enter the data that you want it to reflect. So instead of 50%, I did 25% and 70%, 75%. So you can see all that there. You can change the colors on this too. So it's, because we're familiar with Microsoft products, this might be some place that you might want to start. It will build your PowerPoint skills. That's absolutely for sure. I don't want you to get frustrated. It's not that hard. The cool thing about this template is that in the bottom here, they use this sort of, I want to call it a gear, as a sliding thing to show your proficiency. And it's pretty nice to be able to do. You can even choose new icons for your interests or any icon on here. So it wasn't too long ago that PowerPoint gave you all of these icons. So it's pretty easy to add a new icon and then give it the right color. So this was a nice template that was fairly easy to adjust. And I know that Stacy showed us Google Drawing on the very first day, and they don't have infographic resume templates that I could see. But what they do have is the ability to create a really cool infographic. Like, I love this timeline. And so let's say I wanted this timeline on my infographic resume. I could create it in Google Draw and save it as an image and then plunk it into my infographic. So, and you could do that with a lot of different things. Let's say you don't want to use PowerPoint, but you were able to create a really cool graphic, like a pie chart or something in PowerPoint. You can't seem to replicate that in one of the other tools. You can save that image as just a JPEG, JPG, or PNG file, and then upload it into any of the tools. So I just want to share that because I'm all about free. I don't want us spending money we don't need to spend. And so, but I did find that Google Drawings was a little challenging if you don't have design skills.
Hannah?
So yes.
Nigel has a good question. For infographics with timelines, are there similar cautions about age discrimination?
Age discrimination will always be an issue forever and ever, right? Old people face it and young people face it, right? So one of the things about an infographic is that old people generally don't have the technology skills to build them, which is a really horrible thing to say, and I can't believe I said that, but it is more innovative, right? So if you're trying to fight the bias against your being old and not learning new things and not trying new things, an infographic is such a fabulous way to beat that bias, because it's showing that either you're aware of infographics, you're trying something new, or you are, even better, you created this yourself. So I think that that's a great question. I think infographics could be so the only question that we have then, and I think I talked about this last week, I'll say it again, whether or not to include a photo, right? And because this is a networking document, it's not something that you're going to use to submit through an application process. I think it's okay to have a picture on it. If this document is something that you're really planning on sending to an employer for a specific job, then I would suggest probably not including a photo on it, just because most employers are a little sensitive about seeing photos of people, even though it's right there on our LinkedIn profile, right? So I say, you know what better way to brand yourself or have people remember who you are than having a picture at the top or somewhere on your infographic resume. Just keep in mind that from a hiring standpoint, that could be a little problematic. But if you're bringing this into an interview or submitting it before you go into an interview, they're going to see you anyway. So it doesn't really matter. So I think there are more pros than cons in using a photo. That was a great question. So Canva is a tool that is used to create all kind of infographics. For the most part, like 80% of the stuff on Canva is free. 20% they're going to try and charge you for by element or blah, blah, blah. But I like it because there are a lot of free templates, like the one that you'll see right there on that screen. That's one of the infographic templates that you have access to for free with Canva. So you know, I have never run into a problem with storage. Any of the items that I want to download, I can download as, you know, as a JPEG or as a PDF. So there are lots of different reasons, and I think Canva, as far as free goes, has the most options. The one thing that I will say is that when you get to the point where you're selecting icons that are under the interest, for example, here, some of the cool ones that you may want to use aren't available unless you pay $5 for them per. So that would be the only drawback. You might be a little limited in the icons you can choose that are free. Any questions about Canva? I think I do take you on a little demo here. So let's see what we can see here. So this shows you how I am going to infographic resumes as a search term once I've created my free account. And what you'll see is that there are quite a few options. I happen to choose that Michael Singleton one, but if you scroll down, there are so many different formats. Again, don't be sidetracked by the colors if they're not your colors. If I want you really to pay more attention to the infographic elements that are on that, which ones are the ones that are aligned with your wireframe most closely. So most of these tools work very similarly once you're in there and you start editing. So once you speak one, like if you speak Canva, all the others are very similar. They work very much the same way. So I selected that one document. And so what you'll see is, I'm trying to make it bigger here. You can change the view on the screen. These aren't my colors at all, so I can absolutely change them. And so I click on the big box and I'm going to change that turquoise color to my blue, or I can select any color I want, right? That shows you what that color is. So you can actually, what you see is what you get real time. And they have some preset colors here down below too, but I'm going to choose my green, my blue, right, and use that. And then if I wanted to change the font, obviously I'm going to not change my name, but this is Robo Condensed. That's not my font. That's not the one I want. So I'm going to select the font that I do want, which is, I think, which one? Oh, I just choose that one. BBoss New is the one I use. That's my font, right? So you can select any font you want and you can see what the difference looks like. You can change the size of the font if you want to make it bigger or smaller. I'm just moving across the top arrow there. You can change the color of the font. And you can make it bold. So all the basic formatting functionality is there in Canva. You can align it in that box. You can add bullets. To add new text, if I wanted to add text, there are 3 different types. There's the heading, the subheading, and text. So you can just, the box will pop up wherever it does, but I want to add contact above my contact information just to make it crystal clear. So I just type in the word contact and I drag it. All I have to do is drag it right over there, line it up, because you can see all these different lines that help you understand where it's centered. And you want it to be centered in the box. So I'm playing around with that there. That's, yeah. So you clearly drag that, and then you can see that it's, do I line it up with that part of the text or the end of the text, or I can center it. So there's some really easy functionality. And just like with PowerPoint, you can change all of the different elements in here. Always give it the name of your name, Hannah Morgan resume or whatever. Whenever you're naming your infographic, use your name and your occupation if appropriate. Okay. So that was a little demo of Canva, which is probably my preferred. It's so easy to use. Well, Visme, if you're going to pay any money, is probably one of the better ones. I just finished watching Payman, the founder of Visme, give a presentation. And every year that tool, every month, the tool gets better and better. But here's the thing, with the free version, you have limited templates. You can only download your drawing as a JPEG. And they're limited charts and widgets for you to use. If you pay $15 a month, that's what you get. So I'm gonna take you on a quick demo just so that you can see what Visme looks like. Oh, I'm gonna have to move this. Hold on. Oh. Okay, so you can see my screen. This is Visme. It'll take a second to pop up here. Oh, it's a little slow. This is why I didn't go live with this. Okay. That doesn't look so good, but it's going to look better. So just like with any of with the Canva or even Microsoft, you can change any of these colors to your color. So you just click on the box and you can see up here that you can see what item, your background and the color. So you can choose from these preset combinations if you haven't selected colors yet. They have quite a big arrangement of colors, right? And so then that could be my color theme there. And then you come over here and you can change the block of this color. And I'm going to go back to what I selected and select a different color. And then go back to this block and select a different color. So I'm just using the colors that are in my theme there, right? So that makes it pretty easy. Same thing with changing the font. You click on the font or the words you want to change. And you can see that this is a font style is Egnomatic. I don't even know if that exists anywhere else, but you can choose any other font you want. You can change the size. You can bold, italicize, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
I don't see your screen.
I don't think, yeah, I don't think we're seeing what you're doing.
Oh, wait. Well, then I'm sorry. Hold
You
on.
see the screen where it says Visme and it gives the prices.
Okay, so I've been doing all this to hold. Let me show you the screen. Okay. Do you see my screen now? Do you see William Dorsey?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Right. So sorry. I'm going to try and make
I'm
this
sorry,
a
I
little.
didn't catch on more quickly to what was happening was answering a question.
Okay. So if you want to change, very similar to the other tools we were looking at, right? If you want to change the color of a block, you can see that it says background here, and I can choose any color I want. So I can choose, there are bunches of preset colors here. These are color combinations that professionals have chosen that work well together. And that's nice because that takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. So if you wanted to be picked, you know, more bold colors, then okay, let's go with the pastels there, right? And then when I go to click some of the other boxes, what happens is the palette that I selected is already sort of up there as the default. So I can't go wrong when I'm selecting other colors. So one of the things that we know is that a blue on a green doesn't show up well. So I highlight that and I go up to that color that shows me that that was the color of the font, and I'm going to change it to white, which looks so much better. And I want it to be bigger than 48 because it's too small. I'm going to use 72. Ooh, big. I'm going to make it bold. And now administrative assistant is out of place. Oh, now it's right in place because I just dragged and dropped it. So it makes it really simple to change all of these elements and things like that. As you can see on the side here, there's shapes, arrows, icons. They're animated graphics that we're not going to get into because I don't think you should use them on your infographic, but there are a lot of different shapes that you can use for backgrounds, like that arrow for the experience. If you want header definition, if you want to create, you know, a circle around your name, you could do that. And this is just so simple to drag and drop. Obviously, I'm gonna have to make this William Dorsey smaller, but it just gives you an idea of all the different things you can do, right? When you look at some, let's scroll down here a little bit. I like this one because there were just different ways of demonstrating it. There's a nice icon collection here that you can use. So where are the icons? We'll go back here and find some of the icons. The challenging thing with the icons is to find ones that that go together. So if I'm looking for communications, I can type communication there and it will show me a whole bunch of the different icon for a communication. They've got lots of different choices there. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna have to drag that there, get rid of that. It's so simple to make your modifications. And I'm gonna give this a darker, you can see it's centered. See, all that guesswork is taken out of there for me. I'm gonna make this a little darker because, well, that's not that good color, whatever. Okay, so you get the drift, right? So that is what we would see with Visme. There's so many different things it can do. Obviously, it can do charts and graphics, data, all kinds of different preset icons that you can use to show different things like a clock or a meter or all kinds of different charts. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, here are all the different charts, more charts. Show donuts or meters. So it's almost overwhelming. That's why it's so important to have sort of an idea of what you want to create, because otherwise it can be overwhelming. So that's Visme. Can you see my screen?
Nigel has a quick question.
Yep.
He wonders if a highly original infographic would be given greater appreciation in an interview than one that looked like it had been based on another template.
No one will know what a templated infographic looks like. So I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but I don't want you to think that if somebody looks at one that is a pre-designed template, even if you copy it and just replace your information with it, it's still more original. Nobody knows what these templates look like. They've never seen them before. So anything you create will be unique. Does that make sense?
Unless your interviewer used the same template a few years ago.
Right, which is doubtful because a lot of these templates have all been updated in the last year. So you know how a lot of people will use the same Microsoft template, right? The Microsoft resume template, which we shouldn't do. But in one day, I was sitting in my office, 3 different people sent me the exact same Microsoft Word resume template, because they were going to meet with me to talk with me about their job search. I'm like, is there why is this same template being used by everybody? So another reason for you to choose colors, because if you choose your own personalized colors, then that's something that will definitely set you apart. Even it can make the template look totally different.
Another question from Richard. Are Canva and Visme set up for 8.5 by 11 and or other sizes?
They have other sizes. You can create any size you want, actually. Their templates are set up, those 2 templates that we just looked at are set up for 8.5 by 11. But you can change the size. It gets a little tricky because then you can't use the template won't fit on that size. But they have other infographic templates that are other sizes. They're just not resume infographic templates. So you could use any other infographic template, and those are usually 800 pixels wide by 1200 pixels tall.
And Nora wonders where she can find examples of really effective and well done visual resumes.
Which is such a good question. I think that I meant to last time share with you my Pinterest link. Did I share with you my Pinterest? I'm going to put it in the comments because I've been collecting on Pinterest for years infographic resumes. A lot of them are professionally done, but I think looking at them is a really good way to get ideas. So let me just quickly see if I can find my boards. Can never find. Are there other questions that I can answer while we're?
Nope, that was the last one.
Oh, okay. Well, give me a second here while I look for my infographic resume board, and
Robin says you did share your Pinterest.
Oh,
I remember
maybe.
you talking about it, but to be honest, I couldn't remember if it was shared or not.
I know there's so much information that I'm throwing out. So let me just see.
Wanda wonders while you're searching for the Pinterest, can you add a URL in an infographic?
You can, but it probably won't be clickable.
Oh, Robin found your Pinterest and posted it in the chat.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
Robin.
Wow, that just saved me a bunch of time. Okay, so what does that make sense? Good question. I'm going to go now to Venngage, which is another tool that it's free, but to get some of the other features, like to get the Venngage logo off, you have to pay a $19 a month fee. But let me quickly just show you what Venngage looks like. Hold on. No, all these screens. Oh, there's Venngage. Can you see my screen now?
No, you gotta, I think you have to back out and go back in again.
Okay, let me do that. There's a way to make sure I'm sharing it, but I don't know exactly always what that is. I know some things, not all things. Okay, so this is Venngage 0. It's free to have up to 5 designs. If you have more than 5 designs, then you can't create anymore. So they have a whole bunch of different infographic resumes. Some of them, they are premium, which means you'd have to be a paid $19 a month member to access them. Others are not. So you sort of have to make that judgment for yourself. But can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It says Hannah Morgan test so far?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so again, it's very similar to the other tools. I'm just waiting for it to all come together here. Oh, maybe I clicked view instead of edit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, okay. This is painfully slow. Okay. So as you can see over here on the side, there are different text, icons, charts, maps that you can use. So if I wanted to change this font from Philosopher to, I don't even know if they have my font. Do they have Beboss?
Oh no.
No, they don't have Beboss. They don't have my font. So I would have to find another font, but you can change the font. What I liked about this one, it had a very simple timeline chart in it. For those of you that are interested in using a timeline chart, that's all editable. So if you wanted to change the date, you know, whatever, right? So you can, oh, look, It remembers it all. That's awesome. Okay. So, and then it had this specialties. And this links back to data, this right there. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the web design print? So you can change those numbers, but you can change any of these labels, legends, very much like Excel. And if you didn't want to use this my travels, you could replace that. You can just delete that whole thing and delete these things and put in your own chart. So I want to use a pie chart. And I want to use a pie chart, and I'm going to enter in, well, I can't enter in data because I can't see, but let me just click OK, save. And I'm just going to move it over there, and then I can just delete this other stuff, right, that doesn't relate. So 2 seconds, you can create any other kind of chart you want, right, and resize it, make it bigger, whatever you want. So that is Venngage, which works very much the same way as the others tools that we've seen. I think it's got all the same shapes, lines, borders, all that different stuff. And you can search. So let's communication. Let's see what they've got. So you can see some of these are premium, which means that unless you're paying for a subscription, you can't have that. So they have fewer communication icons and a much more limited option than we saw with Visme. So I wanted to at least show you, because I know people don't really like signing up for anything online until they think it might be something that they're interested in. So I don't want you creating 3 different accounts in all of these places without having sort of a first idea first of what you might get. So I wanted to show those to you, and I hope that was helpful. So those are the oh, and the last one is Pictochart. Did I show you Pictochart? Pictochart has very, very few options available for infographic resume templates. There may be 12, but they're not a lot. So this was one of the ones that I found that I really liked, that I liked the most. Again, this is called Pictochart, and it works, you know, the same way as all of the others. With this, you're very limited with what you can include, with what you can get when you download. I think you only get a JPEG, and we'll take a look at that. And one of the questions that I think Richard had asked, if you wanted to change the size of this file, I don't know how, I'm just trying to see that. Sometimes with others, you can just drag, but it doesn't look like you can do that with this one. Sometimes you can just drag the element, but this doesn't look like you can. You can add a new element, which is going to take us to a whole nother page. But it doesn't really have blocks. So that's Pictochart, and right, so that was that. So Pictochart will have the watermark on it, their logo on anything that you download. They do let you download only a JPEG, a picture file, and it's $29 a month. So it's more expensive, and honestly, I don't think that it's really as robust as the other ones that are cheaper. So let me go back through and I'll just share, you know, some of these things with you. Before, remember we saw Canva, which is free, and except for certain elements, and pretty much the best deal, easiest to use. Visme is very good, very robust. You can only download with the free version as a JPEG. And let me just talk to you about that for a second with any of these tools. Once you've created your infographic in whatever tool it is, you are going to want to share that, and you're going to want to put it either in your LinkedIn profile share it on social media. You may want to email it to somebody. And so oftentimes if we email it to somebody, we sometimes think that it's better to do that as a PDF. Honestly, I don't think it matters one way or the other, but I think that PDF seems like it's more well-known than sending somebody a picture of your infographic resume. It doesn't really matter all that much. It's treated the same way. People just click on it and open it, right? But I did want to, if someone had their heart set on having something as a PDF, then you would have to pay $15. But if you were to upload, and we'll talk about this next week when you are done with your infographic, if you upload it into LinkedIn, LinkedIn will take a PDF or a JPEG or a PNG. They'll accept any kind of file in your profile. So it doesn't really matter on that end of things which one you download, but no matter whatever it is you're downloading, once you've downloaded it, the picture or the PDF, you can't change anything to that download. You'd have to go back into the tool and make edits there. This is Venngage on the example we saw.
Hannah, are we still supposed to be looking at PictoChart?
No. Oh, is that what you see?
Yep,
Okay.
we didn't see the last thing.
Okay, hold on. I wish there was an easier way to do that, huh? Here we
I
go.
know.
I think I figured it out. I just wanted to, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
your
I just
PowerPoint.
wanted to give you the names of those tools again so that you can begin thinking. And as we're going through this, I want you, if you need to unmute yourself, if it's easier to ask your question, we can do that. We're not so many people that will be overwhelming. Canva, probably the best deal. Any questions about Canva?
Those are for free that you can download, the templates, right?
Let me just go back and check. That's a really good question, because I think that might be, well, you can download, yeah. Visme, you can download a picture file, but Canva, I think, is the only one you can download a PDF.
Okay.
Or you can download anything, but you can download Visme as a PNG, as a picture. You cannot, just always remember, export. Venngage, you cannot download unless you subscribe. PictoChart, you can, see, it doesn't always, I think you can download the picture, but not the PDF for free in PictoChart, which I don't even like PictoChart as much as the others. So it's really, in my mind, it's between Canva, Visme, or Venngage. Any other questions about these tools? And which one features that you want to know more about? Okay. So one of the things that I said before, and I'll come back and say again, if you can't find the right design element, whether it's an icon or a chart or something, you can create it in the other platform and save it as a picture and then just upload it, because all of these tools let you do that. Let me just quickly show you. Let me quickly show you how easy it is. Can you see me? I'm in Visme now. Can you see that?
Yes.
I figured out how to do it. Okay. Let's say here I wanted to insert a picture that I saved. I'd click on my files, and it allows, these are the files that I've already saved, but it allows me to upload a file from my computer. So I'm gonna, a picture, let me just find one. So I just uploaded this picture of a coffee cup and a clock, and I'm going to add it. I can either add it as a background to the whole section of the file, or just add it to the canvas. I'm going to add it to the canvas, and I just need to make it smaller. So I drag down the corner, and I'll get rid of this text. Voila. That was so easy, right? So if you created a picture in a different tool, or there's a picture of an icon or something that you like somewhere else, save it as a picture and you can upload it into your own file. Okay, so which infographic tool sounds best or easiest to you right now? I want you to type, please, in the chat, go ahead and type which tool you are leaning to right now. Which one makes you, are you going to try and use? A lot of Canva out there, yeah. Canva or Visme, Canva, wow. Canva, we're good, okay. You know, I'm glad, Sam, you said PowerPoint, because it is a tool that we're all pretty familiar with. Oh, sweet Robin. So Robin, I love you, right? But I don't want you to become so overwhelmed in the choices that you don't actually get to the creation part. So just be careful of that. I do want you to be thorough in your investigation. But yeah, Canvas, hi Trisha, if Canva's already a tool that you're comfortable with, you know, I recommend that. Good PowerPoint. Look at all you PowerPoint people now. Okay, good. I think PowerPoint's really easy. It's free. It's something that, well, if you have it on your computer, it's pretty easy. So tell me why you think templates are good. What are some of the benefit? What is a benefit of using a template? No
Removes
code.
a lot of the hard work.
Well, wait, what'd you say, Nigel?
It removes a lot of the hard work when you're starting off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For those of us who create,
Yeah. I was having a hard time hearing
Yeah,
you.
me too.
Was that
Mm.
Sam?
Can you turn it?
yeah, the
You're
keys
breaking up
aren't working.
some.
The keys, despite what Zoom says, the key wasn't working.
No, you're loud and clear.
Yeah, for those of us who are creative but not artistic, it helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Good. Thank you, Sam.
It's
Yes.
nice how all the colors match when
I
you use a template.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know Elizabeth Craig already gave like the whole idea of a wireframe a thumbs up, but does having a wireframe make this process easier or harder? What a trick question. Yeah, get it done without getting stuck in the new design. Easier, a little harder. Okay. Much easier. Good. Harder? You think
Yeah,
because you're so creative, right? You don't want to be
I don't know.
boxed
I
in.
see things in my head already. So sometimes I need to see it in my head and then see it when I see it somewhere else,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Something happens that messes me up when I try to translate what's going on up here onto paper sometimes.
Yeah. So definitely take a look at some of to get more ideas so that you can finish up your wireframe and your ideas, right? Go look at some of those infographic resumes on Pinterest. Some of them are really wild and crazy. And the other thing that I remember, some of your interests, consider maybe making your interest the theme of your infographic. So one of the things that has stuck in my mind, I don't know why, it was the person who rode camels on 2 different continents, right? So maybe you don't even need to talk about your cool fact or interest. You just make your infographic in the theme of a camel, right? So you've got the camel, I don't know. Just maybe it's the colors of the camel, maybe it's like the camel logo, not that camel logo, a camel icon.
Sometimes you can take a picture of a camel and have it as your background
Yeah.
lightly, and then your whole thing is over the top.
Mhm.
That
So
would
that's
be
like just a subtle way. And then someone will say, well, what's with the camel? And you could say, oh, I rode a camel on 2 different continents. I mean, they would never forget you. And for whomever that was, I don't remember your name, but I will never, because your name wasn't associated with that. But I will forever remember there was somebody in this group that rode a camel on 2 different continents. Who was that, by the way? Do we know? I'll have to go back and check.
Well,
I-
also, it would make a person want to interview you just to know why you have a camel on your.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to want to know what's with the camel, right? Yeah. Okay. So what other questions do you have before I send you off on your way? Because your homework, just to be clear, is to decide on the tool that you're going to use and create your infographic. Because when you show up next week, I'm going to ask you to share it with the group. Because we want to see, I want to see your creativity. And even if it's not all done, just part of it is done, that's great. We want to see a work in progress. Dun, 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 right? I hope you're looking forward to this. You know, this has been really fun for me, and I want to thank Stacy and the Massillon Library for giving me an opportunity to sort of walk you through this process, because I find it's really empowering, like to feel that I am not limited just to the same old boring mastering the language of a resume, right? That's just not fun for me. So
I think we'll all be Van Goghs.
yeah, yes. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you all again for being here today. Anything else, Stacy, that they need?
No, I just want to say, like, have fun with it, because it's a lot of fun to create an infographic. It really is. Don't be afraid, and you won't break anything, and anything you do, you can undo. So just have fun.
Yep. Think in chunks, right? Small little bits, and you'll get it done. And Stacy should know because she created her annual report for the library, and she used infographic elements in there. So it looks awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you all so
a lot of
much.
fun. Thank you for coming, everyone. And I will have the recording up within a day, and any handouts would be in the bottom. Do we have handouts this time?
I will send them to you.
Okay. All righty. Well, we'll see you next week.
Thanks a lot.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you all.
Bye.
Bye.